Yeah, you start. So at 7 आप इसको वो चेंज कर देना ना.
3 minutes to go.
Yeah. Please mute your camera. Switch off your camera.
Yeah, it's 6:59.
Okay. So we are live now, and good evening, everyone. This webinar is brought to you by HR Cross Trainers, and it is specially designed for the students from class 10 to class 12. As this is the ideal stage and age to start considering career options, where you start with subject exploration and selection and then work towards career selection. This gives you enough time to plan and to even out the stress and to seriously engage in critical thinking about your career. Not taking much of your time, let me quickly introduce to you our host of the day, that is Ms. Gulshan Soni, who is a postgraduate in sociology and mass communication, and presently she is a career counseling professional. Before I request Ms. Gulshan to take over, may I request all of you to please write your questions, queries, if any, in the chat box at the end of the program, at the end of the seminar, webinar, and our experts will revert to you with responses separately in a couple of days. And let me also mention here that internet or electricity outage cannot be ruled out. So in case it is there, please bear with us. Thank you very much. And now I'll request Gulshan to please take over and start the webinar.
Hi everyone. We are all here to plan a career, to achieve the goals we have set for ourselves. Firstly, I would like to tell you all that fortunate are those, blessed are those who have the resources, the time, the money to make a career. There are students who are amazingly talented, brilliant and ambitious, but do not have the money to pursue their studies. But such people who make it big in life are determined, motivated and focused. They do part-time jobs at various places, could be at the eateries or business establishments or at the shops to fund their education. They are focused on what they want to do. Their aim is to make a mark in life as they understand the importance of making a career. And they make it happen as they are hardworking. I have a very recent example to quote here. Manya Singh, you all must have read about her. Manya Singh, an auto rickshaw driver's daughter, was one of the winners of the Femina Miss India contest in Mumbai, held just a couple of days ago. She's all over the newspapers, television, Facebook, everywhere. Being an auto rickshaw driver's daughter, she is now a much sought after celebrity. Why? Because she was determined and focused. She set the beauty world as a goal, worked towards it, and there she is. And let me tell you, she was denied entry into one of these beauty pageants last year, but she did not give up. She had many sleepless nights without food. She used to study during the day, and in the evenings, she used to go out to work. Such was her determination. I'll quote another example. You all know the southern superstar Rajnikant. He is a big name down south. But do you know he did not become a superstar overnight? He worked as a bus conductor for many years. First, stardom is a very difficult thing to achieve. He was focused and determined, and see where he is today. He is the most respectable actor down south. Therefore, it's very important to be focused and determined. So for the students who have everything going for them, they have all the resources, they don't have to worry about funding their education. The only thing they have to do is planning and making a career, which should not be difficult for them. The only thing they have to do is work hard and make it big. Let me tell you all that nothing comes easily to anyone. There is no substitute to hard work. Hope you all understand the importance of studying in today's competitive world. So in today's webinar, we'll discuss the importance of career choice. We'll also study the importance of career planning, career information, the sources of career information, stream-wise courses, new age careers, how to choose a right career, and reasons for selecting a wrong career. Now, firstly, we'll take up importance of planning a right career. How do you plan your career? You first need to know your field of interest. You should first know what interests you. That is, what you like to do. If you're unable to answer this, You need not worry. You only need to answer a very simple test, which is known as psychometric test, by answering which you will come to know your field of interest. So once you know this, we start with planning a career in this field. In that field, whichever field you're fit for. While choosing a career, there are multiple things to be considered. Some of those include natural talents, work style, social interactions, etc. Some students may feel that they don't know what to choose. They may feel they are blank. They have no idea as to what is the best stream for them. So such students need not panic. We are here to help you. Here comes the importance of planning a right career. Career planning gives us the much needed direction and makes it clear where you see yourself in future. It makes you aware of your strengths and weaknesses, skills and knowledge that are required to achieve your goals in future. Now, sometimes we tend to choose a wrong career. The reasons may be many. One could be because of parental or peer pressure. Your parents may ask you to choose a career which may be of no interest to you, or your friends may be choosing a particular stream and so you also think of taking it up, even though you have a different choice. The second reason could be fetching good marks in a particular subject, so you plan to take up that subject. Another reason could be a particular profession is running in the family, say a family of engineers, would expect their child to take up non-medical so that he or she too becomes an engineer, or you simply choose because a majority of friends have chosen one. But let me tell you, please choose what you love to do. If you think you can excel in a particular field, go ahead and choose that. You must enjoy what you do, so take up what interests you. Let me tell you here that there's no substitute to hard work. Nothing comes to you on a platter. You have to rough it out. Now, we take up career information. Now, career information refers to information for the purpose of planning and management of one's own professional career. It helps in planning a career strategy. It relates to all types of careers, whether skilled, semi-skilled, or unskilled. Career counselors are professionals, as you all know, who help you analyze your strengths and weaknesses. They help you evaluate your skills and goals. They help determine what a student requires in a career. Career information is endless, right from agriculture, food and natural resources, architecture and construction, arts, audio, video, technology and communication, education and training, government and public administration, hospitality and tourism, information and technology, to manufacturing, and the list is never ending. There are popular jobs which fetch you maximum salaries, and there are also jobs which can give you maximum job satisfaction. Let me tell you, job satisfaction is as important as big pay packets. Now, sources which give you career information. Where do you get career information from? The internet is a valuable source of career information. You all know that. You get onto the internet and you will find every detail regarding every career. Second could be libraries and career centers. Now, these two, libraries and career centers, offer a massive amount of career information. Third is various organizations. like business firms, labor unions, professional societies, trade associations, and educational institutions also provide precious career information. One thing very important I would like to mention here is that career planning should be done from 10th grade onwards, as the choice of stream and subjects will come post 10th grade. I would like to repeat it again. Career planning should be done from 10th grade onwards, and the choice of stream and subjects will come post 10th grade. To choose the right career stream, we need to know about your aptitude level and interest. For example, if one wants to enter the hospitality industry, he has to opt for hotel management courses, etc. If one is interested in accounting, he has to take up commerce to become a doctor or a nurse, or if you wish to enter the medical field, you have to take up medical. So to make you future ready, we will now talk about the top most professions which are in demand stream wise. But before that, I would like to make a mention of Ikigai. What is Ikigai? Ikigai is a Japanese concept, and it says that we all have a purpose in life, and once we discover that, we will lead a satisfying and rewarding life. Now, coming back to the jobs in demand, one thing is worth mentioning here is COVID-19, which has played havoc in our lives. Now, due to this pandemic, several professions have gone through a sea change. 10 to 15 years from now, some professions which are very popular now may not even exist. Now let's get back to our discussion regarding the top jobs stream-wise. We'll start with the science stream. It's a very wide stream. Now we'll start with data science. What is data science? Data science is a field that uses scientific methods and systems to extract knowledge and insights from many structured and unstructured data. I'll explain data science again. Data science is a field that uses scientific methods and systems to extract knowledge and insights from many structured and unstructured data. Data science is related to data mining and using it for improving service performance. I hope I'm clear to you all. Then the next is medicine. You can be a doctor, a surgeon, you could be a physiotherapist, a nutritionist. Then you all are familiar. Second one is cyber security. You all are familiar with the word cyber. So you could get into cyber security. There are various jobs related to cyber security. Next comes game design. You could be a game designer. You could be a game developer. Then we come to robotics, mechanical engineering. You know, there are various engineering, chemical engineering, computer engineering. There are a number of them. Now, the next is software development. You are familiar with this, software development. Product, industrial design, animation. You could get into this as well. A very, very vast field and very paying jobs are here. Then engineering, environmental science, manufacturing. You could be a technical writer. Can we have the next slide, please? Now, after science, we will take up the commerce stream. Commerce stream, we have financial consulting first. People can come to you for consulting where their finances are concerned, statistics, or data analytics. You could be a chartered accountant, private equity, company secretary. You could be a company secretary. They all fall under the commerce stream. You could be a financial analyst. You could be an actuary. Let me explain actuary. Who is an actuary? A person whose job involves calculating insurance risks and payments for insurance companies by studying how frequently accidents, fires, deaths, etc. happen. I'll explain actuary again. A person whose job involves calculating insurance risks and payments for insurance companies by studying how frequently accidents, fires, deaths, etc. happen. Next comes insurance. You could get into insurance. Cost and management accountancy. You could get into that. Then there's certified financial planner, a very vast field. You could get into banking, investment banking, venture capital, corporate finance. You see these corporate houses. They give you a huge number of job opportunities. One can get into stock broking as well. Now, the third is humanities or arts group. If you major in psychology, there's clinical psychology, organizational psychology, sports psychology. You could get into counseling, education, career. You could be a content writer as well. You could be an editor of various journals, magazines, newspapers. You can become an author. You can be a writer. You can be a poet. You can be a translator as well. Then comes designing. You could get into fashion designing, interior designing, jewelry designing, textile designing. There are a whole lot of job opportunities here as well. Then, of course, civil services. Civil services, as you all know, Indian administrative services, a very competitive field. You need to work very hard for it. Next comes diplomat. You could be a diplomat. You could enter World Health Organization. You could get into the World Banks, United Nations, international relations. Then, of course, you are familiar with business management. National security, you could get into the national security agencies. You could work for the CBI, the FBI. And of course, there are these two huge fields, marketing and sales. Then journalism. Journalism gives you a lot of opportunities, job opportunities again. You could get into public relations, advertising. You could be a teacher. You could be a lawyer. You could become a commercial artist. Hospitality, of course. You could join any restaurant, 5-star hotels, 7-star hotels. Then you can be an event manager. You can go to these big cities and manage various events. Can we have the next slide, please? Now, a career in the armed forces. Now, the biggest advantage here is that you could be following any stream, but you can enter the armed forces. You all know Indian armed forces. It has the naval wing, the Indian Navy, the Indian Air Force, and the Indian military or paramilitary forces. Now, I'll first explain what are paramilitary forces. Then I'll get back to the Indian armed forces again. Paramilitary forces, now, it is a semi-militarized force whose organizational structure, tactics, training, subculture, and functions, now all these are similar to those of a professional military. They are similar to those of professional military, but is not formally a part of country's armed forces. I will repeat. Paramilitary forces. It is a semi-militarized force whose organizational structure, tactics, training, subculture and functions, they're all similar to those of a professional military, but paramilitary force is not formally a part of our country's armed forces. For example, IPS, ITBP, that is Indo-Tibetan Border Police, Coast Guard, etc. So getting back to the Indian Armed Forces, you need to get into NDA. You can do that after your class 12 is over. You want to NDA, National Defense Academy I'm talking about. If you wish to enter IMA, that is the Indian Military Academy, you can complete your graduation and then go for IMA. Then, to gain entry into the armed forces, one has to clear SSB, that is the Service Selection Board. We are also into high-end training for Indian Armed Forces officers selection. Now, earlier, a couple of years back, girls were not allowed to enter the Indian Armed Forces, but it's not so. Girls are also free to join the Indian Armed Forces. Indian Armed Forces, as I look at it, it adds a lot of status to your personality. You know, when people look up to you, even if a Jawan is going outside, I mean, I think I would salute a Jawan. So I personally feel that given a chance, I would join Indian Armed Forces right away. We'll have the next slide, please. Now, we'll talk about new age careers. Now, when we say new age careers, we mean that most of these careers did not exist a couple of years ago. Even if they did, they were not much heard of. These are new age careers. So we start with the first one, that is adventure tourism. Now, I hope you all can read. Adventure tourism operators, what do they do? Adventure tourism operators guide and supervise tourists on exciting outdoor activities, on mountains and on biking trips through forests. Their activities may include rafting, canoeing, diving, fishing, climbing, hiking, bungee jumping, sailing, etc. So anybody who is very adventurous in nature can go for adventure tourism. Even if you're not adventurous, the job will make you adventurous. So this is a very, very exciting job. There are many jobs under adventure tourism. So the second one is animation filmmaker. We all have watched animated films, most of us have. Who are animators? Animators are responsible for the on-screen visuals that we see in animated movies. So they are responsible for what you see on screen while an animated film is going on. They work with drawings, sketches, and other graphics to convert them into an animation. So this is animation filmmaker. This is the job of an animation filmmaker. We move on to app developer now. Who is an app developer? We all download so many apps every day. So it is related to the apps. Now, app developer, what does he do? Creating software for mobiles and tablets is called app development. With increasing use of mobile technology, an app developer is equally important like software engineers these days. So an app developer, they say, is as important as a software engineer these days. The growing popularity of this job I'm talking about. So now we move on to aviation management. Who is an aviation manager? An aviation manager plans and schedules flights, oversees aircraft maintenance, and manages staff for airlines. A pleasing personality, stamina, and leadership ability is required to fit into this role. Very simple. So it's not very demanding where education is concerned, where academics are concerned. So aviation management. So aviation has a lot of job opportunities. It gives a number of job opportunities to everyone. Now coming to the next career option, audio management. Audio. Audio management, an audio engineer uses machinery and equipment to record, synchronize, mix, or reproduce music, voices, or sound effects. So this is the job of an audio engineer. He or she can work in movies, music recordings, theaters, or video game industries. So audio engineers may also be called sound engineers or recording engineers. So this did not exist, audio management did not exist maybe a couple of decades ago. So bioinformaticians, we go to the next career option. Bioinformatics use many areas of computer science. So they use many areas of computer science, mathematics, and engineering to process. Their job is to process biological data. Now, complex machines are used to read in biological data at a much faster rate than before. This is self-explanatory, I think. I need not explain more than this. Next comes blogger. Today's youngsters are familiar with this term blogger. Now, writing periodically on a specific area of interest and publishing it as blogs online is called blogging. I'll repeat it for the ones who are not familiar with it. Writing periodically on a specific area of interest and publishing it as blogs online is called blogging. Now, who are bloggers? Bloggers research and write for news, websites, public and private corporations, government offices, and many other organizations. So this is the job of a blogger. So you could be one. Now moving on to biotechnologists. Biotechnology is gaining popularity in India now. It was very popular. It still is popular abroad, but it is fast growing in India now. Biotechnologists are professionals who work on living organisms. So these people, they work on living organisms along with the cutting edge technology in order to do what? In order to provide innovative products such as pharmaceuticals or biofuels. Next is brand management. Most of you are brand conscious people, I know. Children, students love to wear branded shirts and t-shirts, branded jeans, branded shoes. So what is brand management? It will be easier for you to understand. Brand management is a communication role that includes analysis and planning on how a brand is positioned in the market. There is not one brand. There are hundreds of brands. So how you position it in the market. This is the job of, brand management is a communication. They're talking about brand management. Sorry, it is a communication role that includes analysis and planning on how a brand is positioned in the market. So this is the job of a brand manager. A degree in advertising. What do you require here? You require a degree in advertising or mass communication to be in brand management. So journalism, in other words, you got to do journalism, otherwise called mass communication. A degree in advertising or mass communication is required to be in brand management. Now moving on to the next option, that is clinical research. Clinical research What exactly is clinical research? It is a study for new drugs. Clinical researchers verify use of drugs or its adverse effects on human beings. I'll quote an example here. During these COVID-19 days, all over the world, scientists and doctors, they were looking for a cure or vaccine for COVID-19. So this is an example which comes under clinical research. I hope it is easy for you to understand now. Now, next comes career counselors. Who are career counselors? Career counselors help people decide on careers. Exactly what we people are doing here. They take a person's education level, work history, personality, interests, and skills into account and suggest careers that match his or her background and abilities. This is the job of a career counselor. I would say again that this is also gaining popularity at a very fast speed. Next is you could be a content writer as well. Anybody who has a flair for writing can be a content writer. Writing, updating, and organizing content for websites. When you write for websites, are these people writing, updating, and organizing content for websites are called content writers. Now, content writers write typically to attract new visitors to their websites. They are expected to write on a variety of subjects. So content writers are much in demand. So moving on to the next career option, dairy product management. Dairy management is to work in a field to develop products that increase consumption of milk, cheese, and other dairy products. Excuse me. Amul India is the best example where knowledge of dairy product management is applied. So this is self-explanatory. I don't think this more explanation is required here. So next is dietitians. Who are dietitians? Dietitians are responsible for planning nutrition programs, suggesting right ingredients and balanced diets to preserve health and fitness of individuals. You'll find dietitians working in the hospitals, in the clinics. You can find dietitians having their own private practice. People go to the dietitians whether if they are overweight or if they are underweight. So I hope you all understand what I'm talking about. Next is disaster management. Management and handling of any disaster. When there is a disaster, managing it and handling it. Now, these disasters could be both natural and man-made. Now, management and handling of any disaster, both natural and man-made, is called disaster management. For example of natural disasters are earthquakes, floods, droughts, etc. While riots, railway accidents, etc., they are not natural disasters, they are man-made disasters. So one could get into disaster management as well. Next comes disc jockey. All the youngsters talk about DJs, they are disc jockeys. A disc jockey or a DJ plays music and hosts programs on the radio, in clubs, or at special events. These professionals have a good knowledge of music and work in studios full of equipment and music libraries. You all must be knowing what I'm talking about. Disc jockeys. In fact, you can give me more information about them. Moving on to the next slide. Ethical hacker. Now, this is a dicey one here. We all have heard of hackers. We know what they do. Now, we're talking about ethical hackers. Who are these people? An ethical hacker is a computer and network expert who checks for security loopholes by attacking a computer's security system. It is called ethical because hacking is done by taking permission of the owner. Look at this. So ethical hacker, an ethical hacker is a computer and network expert. See, he's a highly techno-savvy person who checks for security loopholes by attacking the computer's security system. It is called ethical. Why? Because hacking is done by taking permission of the owner. Now, moving on to the next one. Next one is environment economist. Who is an environment economist? What is his job? Let's see. Environmental economists, now these people, they focus on improvement and advancement of environment surrounding us. They ensure the health and well-being of every individual by keeping our environment safe. So their job is to keep the environment safe, clean. Very simple to understand. Now, next comes a food stylist. Who is a food stylist? This seems to be very interesting and very simple. Food stylists, now they are professionals who are responsible for the look and presentation of the food. This is done for ad shoots, movies, books. Hence, the main role of a food stylist is to ensure that the food looks great in front of the camera. The visuals, they make the food look great. This is the job of a food stylist. This is, I think, the simplest career option. Next comes healthcare management. Healthcare management is the field relating to leadership, management, and administration of public health systems. They are talking about public health systems, healthcare systems, hospitals, and hospital network. I think it's very simple to understand. Next comes a very simple and a very popular career option, image consultants. We all have an image. We all have an image. What is our image? The way we dress up, the way we behave, the way we talk. So you can go to a consultant, to an image consultant if you need to improve yourself, if you want a makeover, I would say. Now, image consultants help a person with his or her wardrobe, makeup, accessories, etiquette, verbal communications, and more, so that they give a positive impression at their job or social gathering. So this is the job of an image consultant. Very simple to understand. Next comes health tourism. What is health tourism? Health tourism is traveling to another city. For what purpose? For the purpose of receiving medical or wellness services. Professionals in this profession help such tourists in their logistics and comfortable stay. Very simple again to understand. Next comes hospitality and tourism management. Hospitality management is the study of the hospitality industry. Hospitality management covers hotels, restaurants, cruise ships, amusement parks, destination marketing, organizations, convention centers, and country clubs, etc. Do I need to explain this? I don't think so. Now, next is holiday consultant. Who are holiday consultants and what is their job profile? Holiday consultants are persons who provide all the information to their clients regarding their trip to a particular destination. Holiday consultants are people who provide all the information to their clients regarding what? Regarding their trip to a particular destination. They make travel plans for their clients, book tickets, and convey all other important information relevant to the trip which a client wants. So we go on a holiday, we do not plan a trip ourselves, we go to these people. So next comes jewelry designers. Jewelry designers are professionals who create, design and stylize various jewelries used for different personal and professional purposes. So the job of a jewelry designer is to design the jewelry, create new designs for personal and professional purposes. Now we move on to life skill counselors. Now who are these people? The role of a life skill trainer is to enhance an individual's personality, increase motivation level of people, motivate them, teach effective communication skills and strategies. Very simple again. These are life skill counselors. Now coming to nanotechnologist. The word nano means very small. We had all seen those nano cars in the past. So who are these nanotechnologists? These people, they deal with nano, that is very small particles at molecular level. This career requires a strong foundation of physics, chemistry and mathematics with some interest in research and analysis. This job is certainly not nano. It is not a small job. It requires a lot of concentration. You need to have a strong foundation of physics, chemistry and mathematics. Of course, what to talk of research and analysis. So this is a nanotechnologist's job. Now coming to NGO management. NGO stands for non-government organizations. So a non-government organization management is a very specialized role. What do they do? Where professionals are involved in fundraising, they raise the funds, resource planning, plan resources, setting goals and objectives of a non-government organization. It is all about strategizing and working for a cause. So they work for a cause, non-government organization. Now, how to choose a career path? How to choose your career? Now, there are various ways to choose a career. Now, once you may think of 2 or 3 careers, you have 2 or 3 careers in your mind. Now, what would you do? You would naturally go in for a lot of research, go to the internet to get more information, read newspapers regarding the stream you have chosen. You would also like to interview the professionals related to that stream. For instance, if you think of taking up law, you would naturally go to the renowned lawyers, the established lawyers with a similar background. You will meet those people who have a similar background. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Ikigai, I'll repeat Ikigai again. It is a Japanese concept which says that we all have a purpose and our life has a purpose. And once we know it, we discover it, our lives will become very satisfying and rewarding. Psychometric test, as I mentioned psychometric test earlier, we'll give more details on this test. Psychometric tests are the tests which find out, once you answer this test, you will come to know where your interest lies. And this has a 14-page report which analyzes your personality. I'll get into the detail when the next slide comes. Now, once being on the job, you have thought of a career, you may think of interning with someone. You may think of working with someone to gain experience, or you may be shadowing someone. By shadowing here, I mean you may be following up with an experienced person, or you may volunteer to work somewhere just to have an insight into it. Manage an event. You may manage an event. You volunteer to manage an event. or you help a small business to learn more. Understand? So if you're thinking of one career, you may have two in mind, you may have three in mind, you may have one in mind, but at the end of it, what do? You will list their pros and cons to arrive at a conclusion. To arrive at a conclusion, the pros and cons have to be looked into. Can we have the next slide, please? Now, psychometric tests I was talking to you about. What are psychometric tests? This is a very simple test. This is not rocket science. No rocket science. This is a very, very simple test. In case you do not know what stream you need to take up, you do not know where your interest lies, you can go for this test. I'll give you the details of the test. Very interesting. Now, to know your capabilities, psychometric tests, they assess your abilities in terms of skills and qualities. You will come to know your abilities once you answer this test. Second is job aptitude. Job aptitude checks if you are able to perform well as part of a team. Are you a team person? Or how do you handle stress or high pressure situations for a particular job? Are you able to work under pressure? Are you able to work under stress? Or can you work along with a team? So, job aptitude is all about checking this. Next comes personality. Once you answer this test, now another aspect that psychometric tests reflect upon is your personality. What is your personality? These include the general assessment of your nature. Your nature is assessed, that is, whether you are an introvert, you are an extrovert. In addition to this, they also test your emotional quotient. See, every person has a certain degree of emotional quotient and professional maturity. How mature are you professionally? All this we come to know once you answer this test. Now, I hope you all have written your questions or queries in the chat box. As mentioned in the beginning, if you have any queries or questions, please write them in the chat box along with your names and phone numbers. If you think you have chosen your career option, if you have chosen any career option by sitting here, or if you had made up your mind prior to coming here, you can write that career option also, and you can also write what is your way of going about it. Please write all this in the chat box, and I hope, but before winding it up, I would like to repeat something, that there is no substitute to hard work. No pain, no gain is a saying, and nothing will come to you as on a platter. You will have to rough it out. I hope this talk was inspirational, motivational, and interesting at the same time. We tried to make it very informative as well. So we'll catch up with you in the next webinar. And I hope you liked it, and thank you very much for being with us.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. Thank you, Gulshan ji. As Gulshan ji said, that there is nothing more important than hard work. The key to success is determination. So I will suggest never give up, as great things take time. God bless you all. Thank you very much. Catch you in the next session. Bye-bye. I'll wait for the questions,
Yeah, yeah. See.
if any. I think it is over. People are there, still there, but they're not writing questions, right?
How many of them have written?
A few of them have written. A few of them. 5, 6 people have given their questions, queries. Yeah, Gaurav, I think we can do away with live streaming. Or should I end?
Is Gaurav there?
Never mind, I'll end it from the end.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I've done it.